GM. This is Rihanna Morgan. Good morning, everyone. This is Web3 Writers by Vagobond Media. Hello, hello. How are we today?
Doing good. I was having issues connecting today.
Doing well. Had my coffee.
That's excellent. That's excellent. I've got my coffee too, and I've got a bottle of water, and I'm ready to go. Well, hello, everyone. This is Web3 Writers by Vagobond Media. I'm Rihanna Morgan, and I'm joined here on the stage by Odd Writings and Musashi. And I see Authored Styles joining us in the audience, and we've got Rihanna Morgan here. I'm the one behind the Vagobond Media logo here, but I'm also in the audience. And we've got Whitney Morgan Media, and we've got PageDAO, and so this is so exciting. What a fun day. What a fun day. So Odd Writings, do you want to start out by telling us what you've been up to?
Now I've been playing with Uniswap and integrating that. I mean, well, not integrating it. Zora recently integrated themselves with Uniswap so that if you publish an NFT on Zora, it'll be on Zora for 3 days, and after 3 days, then it creates a secondary market on Uniswap, and so then your NFT can be sold and bought there. And so I've been playing with that first off, and then secondly, I've been playing with making animations for my NFTs. And so those both help with storytelling on the blockchain, and then the Uniswap stuff helps to spread the information about literature on the blockchain, I suppose. So that's that angle, that literature angle is what I would add to it.
Wow. Do you have links on your profile so I can go grab them and share them up in the nest?
I should have some recent posts where I put the link there. It's a little difficult for me to access it now because I'm going through an emulator on the desktop, and it gets a little weird when I flip back and forth. But yeah, you can if you can find it, that would be great. And the other thing unrelated is that they discovered they think the water on Mars is completely unrelated to literature, by the way, but I just have to say it. So most of the water on Mars, they made those canals or the stream beds on Mars, and the theory was that it had all evaporated along with the atmosphere, billions of years ago. Well, now there's very strong evidence that it's about 10 miles down. Instead, it seeped into the crust. And 10 miles on average, is too far for us to drill, but it does mean that there is actually liquid water down there now, 10 kilometers down, which means there could be life down there. So that got me all excited. Again, nothing to do with literature.
Well, that is exciting. And I think anything deals with literature because you can take anything and turn it into a story or a poem or a song or, just anything. And so I think that's really clever. That's really clever. And let's see, we see Musashi here. So thank you, Odd Writing, so much for sharing. And Musashi, do you want to jump in and give us an update on what you've been working on?
Well, I've been working a lot on mechanical pumps today and wires. But other days, and what I'm about to be working on is probably the third round of push protocol testing that I'll be doing. And this round is probably going to be where I get to push the upper limits of push protocol and really get into some of the more, customized utilizations of it. I'm kind of excited about that.
And that's related to the PageDAO utility for writers on the blockchain, right?
This third round of testing that I'm personally doing is actually a test on the PageDAO dApp that's in closed alpha right now, yes.
So Musashi, since you and I work
He's
together
pulling
on,
that alpha out.
yeah, so that because you and I work together on a daily basis, do you want to talk a little bit about what's going on at the PageDAO so that we can share that with our audience either now or and in the future to our future listeners?
Are you talking about a potential contest coming up or something else?
Ooh. I
Or are
think
we talking DAP?
I think that we could definitely let's talk about the DAP a little bit so that people can be aware of that a little bit. And then maybe talk a little bit about this activity contest that we've got coming up that we're working on. It's on the drawing board. We're working really hard on it and we're very excited for it. But you'll hear it first here. So yes, let's do that.
Yeah. You gotta pinpoint which thing because there's so many cool things we're doing. And these are actually linked anyways, so it's
I
kind
know.
of cool.
I know. So I think it's okay. Like if we give an update on where we are with the alpha stage
Yeah.
of the DAP and what we've been working on. And I think it's even okay to talk about that. Our lead developer, Indefatigable, has given a presentation, kind of a formal presentation to the Secret Network people who gave us our grant to work on this to begin with, and how that went. And then, yeah, just a few little tidbits I think might be really fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, like Rihanna just mentioned, our DApp that mostly Indy has built all solo. We have an amazing developer, Indefatigable. It is in alpha stage, like we mentioned, but we have been the core team and some of the DAO members and other team members have been testing it out. Worked out a few of the initial bugs that it had. Nothing serious, which was nice to see. And we're getting really close to the semi-public, semi-private alpha release of that DApp. I use the semi and the dash there for a reason. We're going to do invite only first, and I believe the max is going to be 100 users for the initial alpha testing phase. We want to just make sure that everything's running properly, running smoothly without having too much traffic to parse through, and figure out anything that might go wrong. But also, we want to be using this as an opportunity to make sure that we're being guided by the users for the additional features that are going to be worked on after the core functionalities, pretty solid and smooth. We feel good about it being more of a final stage. So, those initial, users will be, obviously our DAO members get first access. The core team and other team members have been, putting in some suggestions for a list of both Web3 and Web2 authors that we would like to invite to utilize the DApp for the first time. Obviously we are giving Web3, priority, only in who we contact first, I think. Other than that, the treatment's the same all around. And yeah, that DApp, it is for publishing, all sorts of different types of publishing. You can imagine it's not just authors, writers. These are creators of all types, publishers, groups and collectives, and having the ability to prove ownership, ability to have all of these permissionable actions that you can utilize as a creator, offering up revenues to different contributors or people who have purchased the assets, giving out rights to anyone who might be a reader or writer or owner. Um, and yeah, really getting out of the whole centralized control by all the standard publishing houses we have today in the legacy media conglomerate. It's quite a wretched place, so pretty happy to have an environment that's better. That's also, I know that the back end of the tech is geared toward the same ethics that I fall within.
Oh, yes, definitely, definitely. And that was a beautiful summary, Musashi. I think you did an amazing job talking about everything that's been going on at the PageDAO. And so, yes, just to um, send around an additional set of invites to everyone. If you would like to jump up on the stage, we try to have a conversation. And so if you have something that you would like to talk about, something that's dealing with writing, whether it's IRL writing, whether it's Web2 writing, whether it's Web3 writing, if you're an author, if you're a creator and you're like, what is this? Jump up on the stage. Let's have a conversation about it. You're definitely welcome to do that. We love that. And I want to send a special shout out to EZ, who's a friend of ours, and send him an invite to come up and talk. And I see that we have Jacob who's with us. Welcome, Jacob. Thank you so much for coming. And so now, Musashi, I'm going to hand the mic back to you, actually, because I'm really interested in what is one of the first big projects that PageDAO is working on besides governance, beside the publishing application that's being built, besides the author profile piece that's being built. What is this next thing that we're sort of working on that seems really exciting?
You know me, I'm all quiet about it because this is the part that I'm most excited about. I don't want to be all sneaky about it.
Oh, that's taking a page out of my book for sure, because I am so sneaky about stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not ready to talk about it. I have this amazing thing that's happening, but I'm not ready. But I think maybe we should talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, definitely. So this is kind of a little bit of a part of the launch of this DApp is we'll be utilizing it during this contest that we're about to launch called a Murder Mystery Writers and Readers Contest. This is going to be a collaborative book and murder mystery that we're all a part of, both the readers, the writers, and us as PageDAO members who created this. A lot of it's going to be really up in the air for us too, so it's really fun and exciting. But we are basically, oh, by the way, shout out to Jacob. Thanks for coming out. He's out of Avagachi, and working on a project that's pretty similar to some of the things that we're doing, and I really love it. Anyways, the murder mystery contest, we'll start off with a basic storyline, just an opening scene, if you will. That'll probably begin in October, and we'll start laying out the scene of this murder mystery that's going to be going on throughout the year until the end of year. So the mystery will be revealed when the ball drops, basically. That's the plan, at least so far. And the initial prompt will prompt writers to begin writing the first chapter. And once that's turned in, those will be posted for readers to then read and vote to decide which chapter becomes canon. And then the next week, we continue, the first chapter that won being voted on for that week becomes canon, and we build off of that storyline. And at the end of the contest, we will be minting this all together into one story, but also later on, all the other chapters that did not win in each of the submissions will not be lost, but added to a further project where the writers can collaborate with other DAO members in PageDAO who have taken it upon ourselves to do this, but we're going to take all of those chapters and then create a choose your own adventure or pick a path book that gets minted after that. And I kind of want to just throw it back over to Riona to tell us a little bit more about some of the cool aspects like the awards and badges and the characters. Riona's put down a heavy baseline for this story and character development, and it's pretty awesome.
Thank you, Musashi. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to send a special welcome to Indefatigable. He's our lead developer at PageDAO. But let me finish talking a little bit about the murder mystery, and then we'll pass it over to Indy so he can tell us about things going on that he wants to share about PageDAO. So the murder mystery, I'm a romantic suspense novelist, and I love writing creepy characters and mystery things and twists and turns, and I love it. It's literally my favorite type of genre to write. And so when we came up with this idea, I ran with it. I was like, okay, I'm in, I'm going to go. And so we really spent a lot of time putting together, oh gosh, like 30 different characters that could possibly be in this murder mystery. And so there's going to be so many different ways for people to be involved. If they want to be a character, if they want to be an investigator. It's so exciting. And then of course we've got lots of other really fun things planned that I don't necessarily want to share yet, but like Musashi said, there's going to be awards, there'll be badges, there'll be all sorts of really fun kind of things to experience, whether you're a reader or a writer. And so I think we'll just kind of tuck the murder mystery away for a little bit, and we'll call up Indefatigable and see if he would like to share a little bit about what's going on with PageDAO.
Hello, everybody! Yay! Thanks, Rihanna. Okay, long awaited, much anticipated. The alpha is now live on app.pagedao.org. Yikes! It's still really buggy, but there's a couple of cool features that allow users who are brave enough to test out this crazy new site to get right in touch with me or any support staff as they're going through things. So we'll be gathering a lot of information during this phase. There's some very basic things that might be helpful to all authors, like you want to mint a book and own the contract that's in. But putting it all together will be the process of a couple months' work. I'm just really excited. I'm really, really excited to build the kind of platform that's, users have control over how it's run. So that's really, really, really exciting. We have a bunch of features that are in the queue that have been kind of seeded by our PageDAO members. And we'll be working through those one by one or as fast as we can get money for them. But otherwise, I'm very excited. I hope people get on, and if things break, I'll try not to take it personally and cry. What else? Yeah, that might be it. I'm a little emotional, honestly. It's been just so many hours. Yeah.
Well, I just want to jump back in and say, let's see, Indy, how long have we been working together at PageDAO? Years. PageDAO just celebrated their 3rd anniversary from imagining to what we are now. And I love this piece of this story, and I'm going to tell it because we deserve to celebrate this. And so, oh my goodness, we were deep in the weeds a year and a half ago, and there would be just a few of us, and all of us, had this great passion, this great love, this great idea to bring this publishing solution to the world. And we're all writers. We're all dreamers. We all have incredible grit, and we just don't give up. And we're just like, we don't, there's no funding. There's nothing. There's crickets, cause it's, Indy and Dylan and Greg and me. And then other people would pop in from time to time, but we were just going and just dreaming and just thinking about, this is what we would love to have. This is how we would love to honor the creators. This is how we would love to honor the voices. This is how we would love to honor literature. This is what we want to build. This is what we want to do. And to be able to hear Robbie say, it's ready. We can jump in and start experimenting, start playing, start seeing what it's like. It is such a dream come true. Such a dream come true. And so congratulations to PageDAO. Congratulations to Robbie. Congratulations to everyone who's been there from the beginning, who pops in from time to time. People who spend hours of their life there, people who spend 5 minutes of their life there. We're so happy and so excited and so glad to be able to be at this spot, because the next spots, the later spots, you can't even believe what's going to happen. And so I love it. I love that this journey is where it is. And I'm so proud and I'm so honored to say that I'm on the journey with all of you. So congratulations, Robbie. Congratulations.
Thanks so much, and thanks to everybody. I don't think I've ever been a part of a project like this ever. And like, it's impossible to say like where the contributions from the community and everyone stopped, like everyone just really pulled together for all the things, and it keeps happening. I don't even know how I can't even explain it. Like, if I had to go to Harvard Business School and like give a talk on how and why we're building these things, I'd be like, magic sauce and just, I don't know, sweat. I don't know.
Magic
100,
sauce.
100% passion. Actually, I wanted to ask Indy a question. I did not expect to hear you pop in and say, it's live. Here it is. Bling. Holy cow. That's pretty awesome. Could you tell some of our listeners what features are going to be live in this first iteration?
Sure. Well, our focus was based on writer feedback. Lots of early Web3 writers who created work and using all kinds of platforms, doing it themselves, having to make contracts, figure things out. So we realized we wanted a really versatile base contract set, something like you would get with Manifold, but where you have full control over everything under the hood. Um, so that was primary. The second feature that people wanted was the ability to have private literary books. So, like, you spend a year, 3 years researching and creating this wonderful novel and universe, and then you put it up free to read. It might work for some people, but not every author was interested in that model of completely free to read. Uh, Give me money if you feel like it. And so, as a bridge, we wanted to make sure that we were able to have encrypted work that was secure, but also independent of PageDAO being around for that security to last. So we spent a lot of time and research figuring out how to handle encryption that doesn't rely on an intermediary. And so we got that in there, so your work is safe. And then the other part was, it's nice having literary work in Web3, but so many Web 2 audiences who are already consuming tons and tons of digital literary content. Why are they excluded, or why should they have to go through a risky, frictionful, painful onboarding process just to be able to access literature. So we worked really hard to find a Web3 authentication provider that would give us Web3 accounts for people who are connecting via social or email or SMS or traditional Web2 access. And right now, using the app, a person, anyone, can literally make an NFT by just signing in using those Web2 rails. What that does is it brings and purchase can be done like with a credit card, so the person can fund their account. We're going to be working with Whitney Morgan Media, Rihanna Morgan's awesome company, and their Story Shopify, so that we can further integrate fiat rails for creators to be able to use, and get their merch out there, have token gated stuff, do all kinds of cool things. But for right now, uh, it's still pretty frictionless to purchase, even if you have never used crypto before, which is a big deal. We've got very rudimentary user profiles, but it is a place to show all the things that you create on the platform right now. And with their price and the links, and it's contained. So it's a nice link that you can share with people. And what else? We have some basic integration with our Charmverse space, which is really cool. So like we can show some updates, get that in front of users of the app, and keep people plugged into opportunities that we hear about in the space. So it's kind of a nice way of weaving in our regular DAO things, other writing things from the wider world, and bringing it into the app where writers and readers are going to be congregating. So that might be the verbose version of the features. There's a couple of little ones that I know I gloss over all the time. So we make flip books that are interactive, readable NFTs. So on OpenSea, you click on the item and then you can flip through the preview, which is specified by the author, how much of the book is previewed. And those flip books, it's really hard to get a flip book maker and have it live forever on the web. And so that can be embedded in your website. It can be shared all over the place, however much the author wants to share as a preview. So all that is really, really cool. A person doesn't have to download a PDF. They're not sitting with that content on their PC, but they have this cool interactive thing. The reader also offers a test version of annotation. So now when you buy a book, you can annotate it. And right now the annotations are not saved, but you could experience what it feels like to have annotations that maybe one day could be saved or shared across other readers. Yes, odd writings.
So my question is, and I'm assuming the answer is going to be no, but is there any kind of exclusivity thing on stuff that we upload? In other words, if we upload something to the app, we're free to upload the same content anywhere else, correct?
Yeah, the platform is a tool for users to use. There's no locking into anything on the platform. It's an NFT. The mint page will exist on our site, but if you wanted to make like an external mint page, like your own kind of code, you could do that. The contracts are available on your Third Web dashboard, so you can just go to Third Web where you could like kind of see all your contracts. You can create different claim conditions. You can do all kinds of really cool composable Web3 stuff with your own contracts. In terms of IP, users IP, we're a writers first platform. Everyone owns their own stuff. There is no exclusivity. It's completely up to the author how their IP is utilized. We're working also, it's in our features list, to integrate with some attestation services and or IP services like Mint Tangible to put the best legal language protecting your content. Luckily, we have a bunch of legal experts who are in the core team of PageDAO. But basically, that becomes add-ons that are visible in the NFT metadata, and so we'll figure out the best way of doing that. Especially when it comes to creating derivative works that is visibly and provably licensed to be used as such, and that gives it extra value. Our marketplace, which is coming, but right now, even primary sales through the site do charge a small fee to help the DAO. And so that we take it when someone purchases through the site. Yes, Odd Writings, please keep asking questions. Sorry to let me know if I'm going too long.
No, not at all. No, this is great. Now, the reason I brought up that question is because I got an email. I guess a lot of people that are on Hug got an email, I guess last week, where HUG on the Hug artist thing, where you can now sell NFTs on their storefront. And so then I went and I looked, and being the anal retentive person that I am, I read the whole terms of the terms basically. And within those terms, it says, oh, by the way, if you upload your NFT for us to sell, yeah, you can't you can't duplicate this NFT anywhere else. So it's got to be exclusive to us. So that to me was like, oh, okay, so much for that. So I'm glad that we're not going down that same pathway.
Yeah, no, I that doesn't sound like a people first sort of solution. What's interesting too is one of the things that we noticed from the market. This is another feature that we added was mint on demand. So basically lazy minted items that are claimed, and then that sets the amount that are created. That was because we were in our first README iteration, you pre-minted the supply, and that created like say 1,000 items. But if your audience isn't quite there yet, and now you have 1,000 items just sitting there, that leads to kind of like a dead thing. So now you can set a cap on supply and a cap on numbers of items that one individual wallet can claim. Right now it's set to default to one per wallet. So when a person claims, they claim, and they can claim with a fee. In future iterations, you'll have the ability to claim based on other rules or snapshots. Yes, Odd Writings.
Well, I don't have another question. I think maybe my little hand symbol is just not
your hand is still up. Oh,
okay. That's
I like your hand, and I'm giving it like a virtual high five. I think even though you weren't around for the a lot of the requirements building, I feel like I kept your particular style of creation in mind in the process. My virtual in-brain Odd Writings was very present. So I appreciate all your feedback.
I noticed that with the annotation thing that you mentioned. It's like, yeah, annotation, make it feel like a used book when you sew it on.
Yeah. You never know what the conversations in this space will turn into product, I guess.
I am grinning. I am smiling and smiling from ear to ear. This is so beautiful, so beautiful. And I love, Robbie, that you have such a beautiful heart for listening, and that you hear what people are saying, and you're like, I can make that. I can make that. And I can make that work. and it's just so, lovely. And the Writers First platform, Writers First place, Writers First company, Writers First. I love that. And we're always in all of our meetings, we're always talking about what tagline, what can we put? What's the piece that's so huge and so big that really encapsulates what we're doing. And I think you just nailed it right there. And so I think I wrote that down. We're going to talk about that later and see if we can get that into what we're doing all the time. And so let's see, I see EZ on the stage. And so EZ, please jump in.
Hey, it's been a little ruggy for me. Okay, I see hearts. I think you guys hear me. Awesome. I missed whatever the magical phrase was right before, so I'm totally bummed. But no, I'm super hyped to be here with you guys. It's so exciting. Congrats, Indie team, everybody. So much incredible work. I mean, being able to have been, part of this from the beginning. And although over, the last year I haven't been able to be super active, it's been incredible to see what the team leaps and bounds in progress. It's like years passed in this last year, finally, like condensation of mass genius sauce. So just, and frickin', hey, the murder mystery, hello, knock down my door, baby. And actually it looks like I might have a little more free time coming up. So this is super exciting for me. Y'all know my love for collaborative, community writings, and choose your own adventure has always been something I've dreamt of. And so I'm super excited for the timing of this, where I think I'll be able to actually jump in. It was all, past the pen. We had some amazing creations. We have some stuff still kind of on the back burner, waiting to be someday revamped and special sauced and put out there. But the technology was still catching up. Like AI and stuff has gotten so much better now. The tools are getting to the point where it can much more easily be managed and I think integrated. So it's just really awesome and exciting. And I'm super glad that I could be here today and be with y'all for more of this journey.
Thank you, Easy. It's so wonderful to hear your voice and your energy and all of that. It's wonderful, wonderful. And Odd Writings, I see your hand up. Yes, please.
Yeah, I just thought of something, so I thought I'd throw it out. It's a goofy idea, but I want to get it out here before I forget it. And maybe it'll be like a distant feature, but you could, Bobby, you could maybe do a little something to prepare for it in case it ever happens. So I write poetry, so it wouldn't apply to me because most of my poems don't have characters in them, but I'm thinking along the lines of the murder mystery where you have an actual novel and you have characters, whatever. If you could have some way of tagging within the writings, this is a particular character. Okay, somehow making a note of that, maybe just somebody's name or something along those lines where this is a character. Because I've been looking into different AI video creation things, and in the process of doing that, I've run across some of these AI chat buddies, websites for having these AI chat buddies that you can chat to as if they're people, and of course they're trained on various things. So I've been running across those, it's like, well, this is not what I'm looking for. But it just struck me that if you're writing a story and you're able to mark who these people are, then in the distant future, perhaps you could integrate and create an AI chat buddy out of these plot characters and then train them on the books that are being included on the platform. So just an out of goofy idea there. I wanted to get off my mind because otherwise I'll forget it otherwise. So keep that in your subconscious, maybe.
Wow. Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh my gosh. Could you imagine being able to just be like, oh, I want to talk to this character from The Gift of the Magi. Oh, I want to talk to, how amazing would that be? Oh
Oh
my goodness.
my God. What happens when the teens are in love with the characters and they get steamy conversations after the chapter? Or, I mean, this could go in all sorts of directions. Incredible. I've obviously, silly idea there, but, yeah, that's, oh man, that would be really, really cool to be able to have, like, after scenes like chat with a character. Yeah, that's a wild idea. Yeah, I mean, it's these kind of tools are bringing up so much like leeway and freedom to continue creation and have more. Yeah, like what if you came up with another like alternate ending, like with the AI character or so, like, oh wow.
No kidding. No kidding. Oh my goodness. Oh, Musashi. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so we've actually been talking a lot about this. These characters that are going to be a part of this first murder mystery contest, other than whoever gets murdered, will live on. And who knows, sometimes, there are plot twists where, dead people come back in stories, but these odd writings, I'd like you to jump in with our dev team, and when we start really getting into the metadata of these characters NFTs on chain, and how that tagging system might work, because we've also talked about, everything, every entity, everything's its own IP, and every idea or word or symbol can become its own IP, a whole universe of things, digital and physical experiences and services and products, songs, all these things. And so you should not only be able to kind of like, if the creator allows it, to be able to pick something out and create some new IP, a new storyline. And yeah, we've talked a lot about, because a lot of our friends that are in PageDAO and friends of friends in PageDAO, like the metaverse makers, we already have AI NPCs that can be programmed with your character. And we even have an automated generator for avatars that can take your character description and create a new avatar. We have these things already, and now the lore to gamification to metaverse to PR, my favorite of all the realities, procedural reality, where when some action is taken digitally or on chain, there's an action that's taken in real life, and vice versa. These things are all coming together now, and even just a small little piece of a story being told can become some whole other universe all on its own.
Jumping in, dude. With the advent of the like text to video, like Zora's and the AIs that are doing that, like another long kind of dream of mine has been to easily be able to create like a short by generating, having even a simple generated AI kind of background, and then you have your little characters, whether that's created from, TFT, or say a character gets developed, you feed that in to what Musashi's talking about. It creates like a visual for you that could then get plugged in, like if people wrote up little shorts out of a scene or some other like fan fiction, like it's just going to go so far and so cool that, yeah, I think the IP with the tools we're getting now is just going to become endless and like so much fun.
Yes. And I'd just like to, Riona, if we have time, if it's okay, Jacob, I'd love to get you on stage if you'd like to hop up and speak. Jacob is working on a project that Nick Mudge presented in Avagachi the other day. It's a kind of like a gamified lore building thing. I'll let him give a brief description of it. Also, Nick Mudge, side note, was the first Web3 person I ever met, and one of the sweetest people I've ever met, too, and one of the biggest brains I've ever met in this space. Well, just people in general, not just Web3. Anyways, I'd love for Jacob to come up and ask any questions, and also maybe next week you can hop on with Nick Mudge as well and actually present what you all are building, and you're also looking for contributors for.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing me up here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully next week can get Nick Mudge on. It's his idea. I'm really just the main web developer on it, but I thought it was cool. So the idea is essentially like making a decentralized story, which from the space today, it sounds like that's already what you guys are doing, just in a different way. But we're making a decentralized story. I'm not sure if anybody here is familiar with the Nouns ecosystem and how they have like the whole auction system. basically every day they auction off a new noun NFT. People can bid on it throughout the day, and then of course whoever the higher bidder. So translating that auction system into storytelling where people can submit their own chapter of the story, in each day the highest voted one will be added as the new chapter to the story, and then eventually creating a full-on story. So that's kind of the idea. And I think it's personally really exciting. But hopefully next week we can get Nick Mudgeon in here, and he can explain it in his words. And then real quick, just while I have the space, again, I really appreciate it. We are looking for UI, UX designers, potentially project managers, smart contract developers. So if anyone knows of anyone with those skill sets, please reach out. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
And just so you know, Jacob, my name is in the hat for project management. Just let me know.
I got you.
I love what y'all are doing. And I think you asked a question earlier today. Would any PageDAO authors or other types of creators be interested in this Avagachi storytelling thing? And I already know a few. The answer is absolutely yes. How many? I don't know. We're about to find out, probably. I think more than I think.
Well, cool. We'll see what happens after this space, and we'll go from there. Again, thank you for the time up here, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Jacob. And I think it might be really fun to talk a little bit more about what you guys are doing and see if there's any way that we can uplift each other on this journey as far as PageDAO is concerned. And so, yes, thank you, Jacob, so much for coming. And so what I want to do now, just a little bit, is talk some about Vagobond Magazine and Vagobond Media. Vagobond Magazine and Vagobond Media is in partnership with PageDAO. And we really are part of the messaging for PageDAO, which is one of the reasons that we spend a lot of time here on this space celebrating all the things that PageDAO is doing. We also are very good friends with Whitney Morgan Media, which is a publishing company that is bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3 publishing, and which allows and encourages even people to publish not only traditionally in print and ebook, but also digitally. And auditorily, if you want to have an audiobook. And so really the sky's the limit with things like that. And then Vagobond Media, Vagobond Magazine really celebrates writers, really celebrates the digital lifestyle, really pulls people in. And so if you're ever interested in being a writer, or if you know other writers who are interested in writing for Vagobond Magazine, please definitely follow us on Twitter. We've got a website. There's a place to do submissions. Our next edition for Vagobond Magazine this year will be a celebration of writers. All writers are welcome to submit works that they've done, works that they've created. And so we really want to encourage people to put together an article like that kind of walks through their entire writing career. Where did you start writing? What did you do? Can we read your first story maybe? And then what have you done since then? And where is it? And what are the stories that really speak to you? And do you have links to buy those? And do you have other things that maybe you're working on that it's not ready yet to really share? There's no links, but it's in progress. You've got these great works in progress that you want to share. And so I just really want to open it up for everybody who would like to be part of that, so that if you're interested, please definitely jump into the Vagobond Magazine website, put forth your submission, and we can include that in our magazine in September. And so you've got pretty much all of August to work on that article and get that to us. That would be amazing. And if you have specific questions, go ahead and reach out to me, Rihanna Morgan. I'm the editor-in-chief of Vagobond Magazine. And so it's really a beautiful situation where all of us get to work in tandem together like this. And CD Demitio, he is our owner, publisher, creator, the visionary person behind Vagobond Media and Vagobond Magazine. And the reason that he's not here with us is that he moved to the other side of the planet. And I know that he is working on putting together some other VMGM on that side of the world, so that we really will be global, and we really will be able to open our doors for people worldwide, which is really what we want to do, and honor writers all around the globe. So that's my little plug for Vagobond Magazine, Vagobond Media. And then I just want to say I'm so happy that I love the energy here today, and I'm so excited that we get to do this together and that we're building this together, and all of these beautiful imaginings that we're coming up with. And so then I have a question that we can maybe round robin for the next few minutes and see what kind of tips we can give people who are writers and who have, because I know all of us have like 6 or 7 things that we all do, and how do we find time to write? And so that's always something that people are always like, well, I'm so tired at the end of the day. What do I do? How do I fit in this writing that I so love in my world, in my daily life? And so Odd Writings will start with you, and then you can just pass the mic to the next person, and we'll just round robin it around. And if you're not a writer, but you're like, oh, I have this great scheduling tip that I use, please share it. We love information around here. So Odd Writings, I'll pass the mic to you, and we'll just see how far we get.
All right. Well, for me, and I presume for most people, I start off somewhat energetic. Well, actually, I start off the day very unenergetic because I haven't had my coffee yet. Once I have the coffee, then it kind of picks up. And then early during the first part of the day, I'm able to think more clearly. And as the day goes on, I get fatigued, and then it gets harder to do stuff. So my way of getting some writing done every day is to make sure that before I eat lunch, I do at least 1 hour of some kind of literature related thing. In my case, since I write poetry, I'll take a poem there's certain poems I write that take about a month and a half to finish. And so those require some deep thought for about an hour in order just to write like 4 or 5 words to get it to work. So I'll do that early in the morning, because that for sure is the hardest thing for me to get done. And that way I'm sure that after a month and a half, I'll at least have that. And then during the rest of the day, I'll try to get stuff done, and I make sure to alternate what I'm doing on the computer. I'll set a timer for 50 minutes, and I'll do computer stuff for 50 minutes. It may have to do with writing. It may have to do with catching up with email, anything, whatever. But I make myself take a 10-minute break. So after that 50 minutes goes off, the timer goes off, I step away for 10 minutes and just do whatever. And then I come back, and that way I get more stuff done during the day. I don't burn myself out by trying to, do 2-hour chunks or 3-hour chunks. Those are the 2 tips that work for me, in getting some writing done every day. And of course it adds up over time, just like taxes. And so that works for me a little bit every day. That's the key. Oh, I forgot to hand it off. I'll hand it off to Easy and Crypto.
All right. Well, I am all ears here. How do I get time for squeaking my little pen against that pad like the old days? Man, it's a love of mine, and it is something that I struggle with. So, I'm all ears for tips today. I would say like I do have, like a kind of whiteboardy, big calendar thing. And so when I get like to where I have a lot of different, there's a space here and a call there, and then I aim it here, and I'll use that as, like kind of a visual, aid reminder that's like physically present versus just like calendar reminders in the phone. So that can help, it's like on the wall in the bedroom, and I see it pretty often. So yeah, there's one little thing that just in overall maybe planning, schedulizing, of course, the phone reminders and all that, but to have like a big whiteboard it's been useful at times, that's for sure. And also super exciting. That's a rad opportunity to be in the Vagobond. And also I'm super excited to hopefully get a deeper dive next week into what Jacob's working on. And I'm glad I remembered. I wanted to ask actually, can I throw up into the box? There's a couple days left, maybe just today or today and tomorrow for Jose Cabrera. He has an artisan fund running. I'm going to throw it up in the nest here, or at least my little tweet, supporting. And I was able to get just pretty easily, sign the thing or whatever, click the boxy poo and get a bunch of artisan points to be able to support Jose in this thing. And he's doing decent resin in the ranks with it, but it'd be great to get him more support. And yeah, he's out right now, with the Watuha in the Amazon, where he had raised some funds for their, building of this, ancestral university grounds through, Giveth. So he's out there right now, working with them. And so he's offline. And I just wanted to kind of remember and bring that up here because I know that he's part of the fam as well. So if anybody can hit that up, I'm sure it would be, greatly appreciated by Jose. And hopefully, help push him up the charts over there. But yeah, awesome. Let's find out how to write more.
Excellent. Thank you, Easy, for reminding us about that and sharing that so that we definitely want to celebrate our friend Jose and support him. So yes, thank you so much. Yes, Robbie, please go right ahead.
Yeah, I spoke to Jose at the airport and he was like, "Hey, can you like my thing?" And I was like, I saw I had more artisan points. I had 630 points, but you have to click the button. And I was like, "Oh, no, no, no. I'm a coder and 20 minutes it's going to take me to hit all this buttons is too much." So I wrote a quick script and then he was like, "Oh, share the script with everybody."
Dude, I needed that script. I hit 900 points. That
I
tab
know,
drove
I
me
know.
crazy.
I'm gonna post the script in my Twitter and I might put it up in the thing. But I was like, no one likes to run a script in their browser sent by some anon, right? You know what I'm saying? It's pretty self-explanatory if you look at
Well,
it.
couldn't they have a dump all my points on my homie button?
Right, that's what we need. Yeah. So anyway, I'll post the script if you're brave and you want to automate your clicking. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. That sounds wonderful. And so we're passing around the question about how do we find time to write? How do we tuck that into our life? And so we've got Robbie and Musashi and Jacob, if you guys want to share.
I'll hop on. I fall kind of in a middle category between others and easy. So I also struggle with writing. It's not because of time, but because I have trauma still based in that. Even though that's a part of how I, deal with trauma. So, I'm still able to write lyrics. And so that has been one of the outlets for me is music. It's always been my main outlet. I'm a musician at heart. I'm a musician first above almost anything in my life. But I have found some things that are important. For me, it's less about time and scheduling and more about my environment and my psyche. So when I read, they're like layers. It's a lot deeper to get myself to write than it is to get myself to read. I love to read, but I found that I can't read, other than technical documentation. I can read that anytime. It's a different part of my brain. But reading for pleasure is what I'm speaking of, which is really what everybody needs to do more of. Reading for pleasure comes from being in a good environment. My emotional, my emotions are not in stress. My body's not in stress. And then I I make a setting, like the bubble bath with candles and wine. That's what I do for my reading. I may not be in a bubble bath, but that's basically what I do for my reading. It's a special time to me. It's a ceremony. I love it. And writing is kind of the same way. And so, but because it's a deeper layer, I realize that that is connected to a deeper form of my, my environment and my emotions and my psyche being okay. And when I'm a little bit better, I'll be able to write differently and write other things. And that's what I'm actively working towards in my life right now.
That is such a strong story, Musashi. I feel like that there are so many people that have a similar experience like that, and it makes me double, triple glad that we're creating a safe place for people to create and for people to experience that love of writing, where they know that it's going to be met with support and care, and not harsh and mean, cruel criticism. And so I love that. And I'm proud of you and I'm excited for you. And however we can help you on that path, we want to do that. Even if it's just a quiet cheering in the corner that, when you pick up your pen, that we're there and we're supporting you. And we can't wait to see what your heart creates. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I know that we're a couple of minutes over, but I don't want to end the conversation. I really would like, if you guys have another couple of minutes, another couple of moments, I'd really like to hear from Robbie about his scheduling, and maybe Jacob, if you've got something, and then maybe I'll share something at the end and we can close out the space. So Robbie, if you want to jump in.
Yeah. Recently I realized I am a binge project starter. So kind of like odd writings, like I start so many literary projects, it's not even funny. And I start usually in conversation with like Chat GPT because I know it'll hold some of my conversations. I also have like Notepad open on my PC, so old school, and so like I'll usually it's poems or lyrics that I'll write in Notepad, but the bigger projects I put in Chat GPT, and like usually I'll go back and refine it, and it feels like I'm just talking to someone. So like it's a kind of a cool method for me to keep going during the day.
That sounds very familiar. All of the places where you would write things down. And Jacob, do you want to jump in? Are you a writer?
So I'm not a writer, but I've been thinking about this question as you all have been speaking, and there's actually a lot of similarities. So I'm a writer in the sense that I write code, and similar to Robbie, um, I'm a what's it called? A binge. What do you call it? A binge
A
writer.
binge project starter.
Binge project starter. I'm always starting new coding projects like every other day. You know, 10 different, for those familiar with coding, Visual Studio Code, which is like the coding equivalent of Notepad. Um, so it's just funny to see that similarity there. Um, but just in terms of trying, I guess, get into the mojo of things, um, for me, it helps. I think, I don't know exactly why it is, but I'm a lot more productive in the nighttime. Um, like sometimes I'll make my greatest stuff at like 2, 3 a.m. and I gotta specifically stop myself and tell myself to go to bed. But I think part of that reason is because there's a lot less distractions. Like there's during the daytime, there's Twitter Spaces, there's YouTube, Warpcast, your usual Twitter feed, Discord, Telegram. There's so much. and then at 2, 3 a.m., everybody's asleep. It's just you and what you're working on.
Which, just a quick side note, look this up, listeners. Look up writings and songs on 3 a.m. It's a big deal.
That is funny. Well, I actually have very, very similar pieces to really all of you, in how I approach my writing. But the biggest one is I'm a midnight writer. I can sit down with my cup of coffee in the middle of the night, and I can click out, 3, 4,000, 7,000 words sometimes. And it just like stays in my mind until it starts rattling around and like really saying, get out. I have to be written down. And so then the people that I work with at PageDAO and Vagobond magazine and everybody, I'm like, I'm a midnight writer, and you'll be able to tell the next morning because I will not be around because I worked through the night until like 5 a.m. and then finally fell asleep. And so, yeah. And so I'm like a sporadic, um, uber dedicated writer where I'm just like, oh, today's the day and I'm just going to go for it. And I'm just going to write and write and write. And then I also try to write a little bit every day, whether it's poetry or whether it's something like I'm always working on an article, or I'm always working on something because I don't know how not to do it. I don't know how, like if somebody were to say, you can no longer be a writer, I think that would be just the end of me. That would be just the end. And so, yeah, I love what I do. I love being able to spend time with all of you. And I love creating words and stories. And I love that blank page so much. And so it's just so thrilling for me. There's really just nothing else that fills that part of my heart. And we are at time. And I see that we had a couple of new people here join us at the end. And I just want to say welcome, welcome. We are here every Tuesday, same time, same place. And please feel free to come join. We love having a conversation. We love talking about what it is to be a writer, what it is to be a writer of the future, what it is to be a writer trying to come from the past into the present. And you are welcome all the time. We welcome everybody up on stage to talk with us and share their experiences. And so once again, this is Web3 Writers by Vagobond Media. And I think I still want to close out the space how we always do. And so everyone who is on the stage will have an opportunity to do this. But I want to honor CD a little bit and say that he was our prior co-host. He lived in Hawaii, and he was he really honored where he lived, and he really wanted to be able to share some of that with us. And so we ended the space with aloha every time we got together. And aloha means hello and goodbye. And it's the air we breathe. It's love. It's care. It's connection to each other. And so on the count of 3, if you would just like to open your mic, and we'll just say aloha together. And I'm going to send odd writings and invites so he can join us. It looks like he's fallen off the stage. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Aloha.
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 Thank you all so much. Much love, and until next time.
Ah!